Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL 1 Road to Rio. We've got an all-French matchup, except for Navair, who is Belgium. We've got to keep that in mind. But these are some very important games we've got coming up today. All of them being played at once. All of them very important to decide this group. I'm Hawker, joined by Dean. Let's get into it, Dean.
Yeah, I'm extremely hyped for this one, as I'm sure everyone else is. As you said, a lot on the line in this game, and with all the other ones that are currently going on over on the other 3 streams that are live. A good bit of damage actually being connected here for Heretics early on. A nice dink towards Shocks. They follow up a small bit again, but for the moment, only having the one smoke. If they do actually want to cross over towards Secret, that would be very difficult. So it doesn't seem like that's where they're looking to commit. Instead, showing that bit of presence, dinking up Shocks so he can't be quite as aggressive from this position to keep the info, and now moving back in towards lobby.
And starting here on Nuke, this is the pick of Heretics. We were talking about earlier that they've got a really good record on this map. In the Road to Rio specifically, they've played it 5 times. They've won it every single time. And they were meant to play it against Astralis, but it didn't go to the 3rd map. That would have been very interesting. But here against Vitality, they're confident in their pick. And they're going to try and make this A play work, and it's working well for them. 2 entries onto the A bomb site, and ZywOo tries to lock it down, but he doesn't get a single kill. Suitor rotating into the bomb site, but he hits the deck. Good kills from XMS, and it's all on Shocks.
Being the man who was dinked up in the beginning of the round as well, that's really not ideal. You had Navair and Macker kicking off this round, who have certainly been 2 of the standout players over on the Heretics side as well. So that's a good sign for them. Shocks was moving up towards heaven a little bit. Gonna slowly make his way back down. I guess realizing that there's not really much he can do in this position. Already so low on health, not having the kit. Saving the Kevlar at this point is probably his main goal. Bring that over into the next round where if they are forcing up, obviously that'll save him a little bit of money. Perhaps give him the ability to pull out an SMG or a scout even if he wanted. If not, get the pistol alongside plenty of nades. So yeah, you can see backing away. He should be safe here, shouldn't he?
I think so. And if he gets to save the Kevlar, he's also got a bit of extra money from getting the 1 kill with the USP as well. So $2,350. He could just straight up buy a FAMAS. He's got options here, basically. Goes for the MP9, so he's going to get some nades, and we will see a force coming in from Vitality. ZywOo gets the scout into his hands. Heretics taking a bit of time before buying into this one. Oh, we've got the Bison on Kiyoshima. Always nice to see a bit of Bison action.
Yeah, we've been seeing this. I don't think me and Mitch have been seeing it a lot. It seems like every time I cast with you, Hawk, is when they start pulling out the Bison. It's a really strange one, because I only ever remember you going, oh, they've got a Bison. I know, for some reason, Mitch really does it, if they do pull it out. But yeah, the force buy coming in, obviously, from Vitality, with Shocks being able to save over his Kevlar. He comes in with the MP9. They have a pretty strong buy overall, with 3 SMGs, a Scout, and then a Deagle. So Heretics do certainly need to be cautious. Going in for 3 SMGs, a couple of rifles then to support them. It is not the craziest of buys, going for one that can afford them a decent amount of utility alongside some pretty solid weaponry. But they're taking it very slow so far. They showed a little bit of presence once again towards outside, but nothing too crazy. You did see it actually pull Shocks, though, around towards Secret. As again, they do initially move back towards lobby, and now again look to work for that outside control, which makes sense, especially having those 2 rifles. You want to try and take the longer range duels. There is also the possibility that they could be up against a scout, which I'm not sure if they know. But ZywOo does at the moment have one towards outside, so that could be one of the main weapons really they have to worry about.
Yeah, definitely got to keep an eye on whether ZywOo can land some shots here. There are pieces of utility left for Heretics, though. If they want to just bypass that scout entirely, they've got smokes. The first one's already been dropped. Second smoke finally coming in, and there's no gap for ZywOo to work with. It's Shocks who's trying to take the fight, but he is dealt with. Easy kill for Lucky, and now they're going to move into the B-bomb site. Apex also goes down. Good kills coming in from Lucky here.
Yeah, taking down to 7 health himself, but at this moment with a 2-man advantage, I was going to say that shouldn't be too big of a deal. Macker was also low, and we see ZywOo on the scout being able to find himself a frag, but I don't expect much else, and Heretics don't allow for much else. The time was getting quite low. It wouldn't have really been an issue as the bomb was already, I believe, secured safely and behind Silo, about to be planted. But it did get quite dicey there towards the end of that round, as ZywOo contributed just a little bit with the scout. The issue is they had fully invested into that round, and unfortunately only coming out with 1 frag. They don't really get a considerable amount of damage done, so it's not making it too worthwhile. Now they're coming onto the eco as well, where only a couple of pistols can really actually be afforded to be upgraded. So this round here is a massive opportunity for Heretics, still carrying on a couple SMGs as well. So Macker, especially if he can build up some money with that Mac 10 towards the op, that would be perfect. Of course, Hawke, we will at one point start trying to explain how all these games will affect who makes it through when we have maybe some ecos later on. We know a lot of people are probably a bit confused. We were too. Thankfully, we had a lad called Lag-A help us out. He sent over his breakdown of how the scenarios could go because it is very confusing. Ooh.
Okay, nice kills, Lucky.
Again with the double.
Yeah. Not with the Mac 10 this time. Not quite as much money being made. Shots gets 1 kill on the ends there. Yeah, definitely big shout-outs to Lag-A for helping with that, because I think between games, we'd have just been frantically, like, trying to figure out what was going on.
Were.
yeah, we still are. It's still confusing, but it's much less confusing.
Yeah.
And we probably would have messed up if we tried to figure it out ourselves.
Oh yeah, no, I let Mitch handle that for us yesterday because he done like maths and all in college. He's better at breaking all that stuff down, and even then he was getting incredibly confused.
Yeah, see, I have a degree, but it's in geography, so I don't think that would help. I don't think that's gonna help me with the maths.
Nah, it's not exactly the same.
Nah,
if we need to know where somewhere is, though, we'll come to you.
Exactly. I can tell you there's a river on Nuke. That's helpful information.
Oh yeah, out towards outside in the yard.
Exactly.
Yeah, a pretty big river. It's hard to miss.
Full AKs for Heretics, for what it's worth. They upgraded fully in this round. They saved a couple of SMGs as well.
Yeah, I think they had the Mac 10 and the Bison still in play, wasn't it? So yeah, I mean, being willing to upgrade, but knowing that you're against Vitality, you do want to get off to the strongest start possible. So being able to pick up the first gun round would be massive for them. But we see ZywOo, as soon as he's able to pull out the op, actually already opening things up towards outside. So that kind of slows down whatever plans Heretics did have in mind. I guess they weren't expecting the op, maybe, because Kiyoshima just peeked out with his rifle.
Ooh, Macker's lining up this smoke. Yeah, it's definitely around where you might expect there not to be an AWP, just because it is so early into the game, but ZywOo making sure he gets the sniper into his hands. There is also a player in secret right now, so Lucky has to be very careful. He's alone at yard. If he gets caught, then Apex could get all the information, and there it is, the flash from ZywOo, well timed, and Masuta has got the timing just right on the push through, and he plays it safe. He just gets the 1 kill and realizes, I've done my job here. In a 5v2, he doesn't need to overextend, he backs away. Navair is hunting him down though. Masuta's trapped in this corner, and if I'm Heretics right now, I'm just taking this fight. You need this kill, you need a way back in, but they're not gonna find it. Masuta shuts it down, and Vitality take a clean first round win.
As you did point out, though, in that position there, they kind of had to take that fight and claim back some control, at least around towards ramp, if they wanted an opening back into the round. But Masuta just didn't allow it. Comes up fantastic in that opening gun round with 3, but obviously, of course, ZywOo with that opening pick really did help things out. So Vitality getting that first gun round, as you had also mentioned going into the previous one, Heretics had upgraded a couple of those weaker weapons. They still have enough to get the full buyout here. You do see Kiyoshima, unfortunately, being limited to the Mac 10, but overall, they do still have a pretty strong investment, and right now, actually just making their way straight outdoor and down the vents. They take a small bit of damage. Navair, for the moment, hasn't actually been allowed to pass, and with that, leaving only the 1 player with the bomb down on that B side of the map, and even then, Navair ends up falling.
Yeah, even though Lucky made it down, it's the kills occurring on the A side of the map right now. Macker's got 1 back, so it's a 4 versus 4 with Heretics having the man down on the B side of things. That's always something Vitality have to be aware of in the back of their minds, but RPK's got another kill for them. ZywOo lands the shot, the flash isn't good enough, and there's no second smoke for the cross, so Heretics losing numbers here. They get both players down towards B, but they've got a lot of work to do to win this round.
Especially with Lucky already being tagged up. They do at least have a smoke. That could certainly help them. The issue is even then, Shox is actually pushed out from the ramp itself, so if they were to put the smoke down, he's actually up close waiting for this peek either way, alongside obviously having the help of the player back on the bomb site. It is Masuta who set himself up on the back of the silo, so a nice crossfire here towards this B bomb site. If Lucky can get that opening kill on Shox, then maybe there is a chance. He comes out, unfortunately not expecting Shox. They had already got contact on towards Masuta up on the rafters. So as they pop out, Shox is able to go ahead and catch one off guard and pretty much confirm the round now in favor of Vitality. Kiyoshima's left on 9 health with pretty much nowhere to go. And I mean, even saving at this point probably won't be the easiest of tasks. But you would imagine Vitality probably won't send out any of their players themselves. They do want to try and build up some money, especially early on the CT side of Nuke.
And especially because we've seen them go straight for the AWP of ZywOo. So clearly that's something that's pretty important for them, getting that AWP into his hands. So building up money is going to be nice for them. That's their main focus. Kyo is allowed to save the AK. Not sure how much is going to be bought around this AK though. It's a $2,400 loss bonus, so if Keo just doesn't buy anything, his money is like slightly short of being able to get a decent buy next round. Now he's bought some nades as well.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of, as you said, he would have been a little bit short anyway, so getting the extra few nades, I would imagine that that could help him with actually achieving a bomb plant to make up for the fact.
True. He also, I think if he'd have just got one kill with the AK though, that would have probably given him the extra $300 to be able to buy in the next. But I don't mind buying the nades here. Set up your pistols for some early round success, maybe.
Yeah, I think they did put a little bit of presence over towards the door. Actually naded off the door itself and then put a smoke through, faking that they could have moved down vent. Obviously, that isn't the goal right now. Instead, grouping up in lobby, and they're going to have a tough time once they do move forward. Actually, here, one player dropping off the top of the hood. So they should know there's one more around, but checking up above still, it lets Apex go ahead and catch one. Zywoo on the bomb site with the op could also be in trouble with multiple players pushing him down, but so far that's not the case. Tagged up Macker, followed up on Lucky, and there was nothing lucky about that. It was indeed just the talent of Zywoo, as we know. An easy enough shot then being found as well towards Kiyoshima. So 3 for Vitality. They are able to overcome the kind of small investment around the one saved rifle. And unfortunately, as you said, no bomb going to be planted now. No kills for Kiyoshima. I think he may have got one because he still has 3650. But overall, it's not enough. He's still going to be put down to a weaker weapon once again. The sights for the Deagle. That gives them the extra nade, so that's probably not too bad. But yeah, an opportunity for Vitality here, of course, in a position where they can go ahead and even bring themselves up into the lead.
Definitely good to see Zywoo land a couple of shots this time on the A site as well, having impact across the map. Zywoo's actually switched up his position this round as well. It looks like he's playing on the A side of the map instead of at Yard. So that'll be something to keep track of if Zywoo decides to switch up his positions, maybe just to try and continue to be unpredictable. You can see he's in Squeaky now, and Zywoo, oh, the timing is just right for him. Easy pick from Zywoo, just out-positions his opponents, out-timings them, and gets an easy man advantage.
Yeah, early on in the round as well. At least Kiyoshima is able to retrieve the rifle. That's one positive, because as we pointed out, he was stuck on the Deagle, but being put down into the 4-on-5 this early in the round is not a good position. It lets Team Vitality really just begin to feel comfortable. They can play a little bit more passive, just try and save up their utility and play their own game, really. So you see it being kind of forced on Heretics to make a push, to try and actually make a play, which they decided to do around ramp. And that was a quick headshot. Masuda is instantly gone. Do they have a quick rotation coming down towards B? I do believe they do have someone nearby over towards Decon, potentially. Indeed, it is Zywoo, but he's not really going to be trying to peek into the bomb site. Instead, was just making sure no one was wrapping down. Secret is going to wait for his teammates now, as they just have to join up and try and attempt this retake. Decent Molotov to force Navair out of the corner. Apex, he ends up actually stepping into it, unfortunately, so we get a 1G. But it's still a decent position overall for Vitality. The trades just continue going back and forth. Keo gets himself a double, and the nade combining with the spray from Macker is going to be there to finish off Zywoo. Heretics, they go ahead and reclaim the lead here as they get back onto the guns. But there is still an okay economy here for Vitality. They're struggling on a couple of players, but we could also see some drops.
And after Zywoo gets them the clean advantage, unfortunately the round slips away there. Masuta, I think, just got caught with poor timing. He seemed to be out in the open there, so he couldn't fall back to either position safely. And whenever you're the solo ramp player and you die without getting a single kill that quickly, you always kind of feel bad about it. You always kind of feel like you know that that's not going to really help your teammates on the rotate down to the B site. And unfortunately, that's what ends up happening. Vitality are just scrambling to get back into position. And even though they bring it close, Heretics are able to win the round. We'll see if Heretics can keep it going, though, because RPK wants to get aggressive. Lucky's waiting for this one. There's a player up close. The flash lands on Lucky's face, and he is a dead man. Good setup from Apex, and RPK steals away the kill to turn it back into a 4v4.
Would have been massive if Lucky could have caught Apex there as he was throwing the flash. Unfortunately, he didn't get quite enough damage. It doesn't put Heretics in a bad position by any means. As I say that, though, Macker also going to be getting tagged down, and the lurk there from Kiyoshima around Garage is going to be caught by Shocks. So that leaves the now 3 remaining players from Heretics, kind of similar to what we've seen in that previous round, just trying to bring it down through ramp and onto B. We've seen Masuda being, again, the man to fall. He does have Apex here to support this time, but he chooses the horrible time in there to actually go ahead and try and take out a nade for himself. Ends up getting caught by the op. So again, it is just going to come down to this retake for Vitality. This time, though, the health is favoring them massively. And with a lot more time, they don't really have to work for the control around the window or anything either, setting themselves up a lot better. Oh, no. Shock should have this one free kill from behind. Yes, he opens the door, trying to jump back across though. Macker holding the angle. This man has just been unstoppable for Heretics as of lately. I think every single game pretty much he's just been fragging like a madman.
Yeah, Macker's been really, really good in this tournament especially because every other Heretics player is performing below their average rating in the last 3 months in this tournament, which makes sense because you're playing against tougher opponents. But Macker's the one man who's actually exceeding his average rating. He's basically doing better in this tournament than he seems to be doing in some of the other ones, which is great to see because it's against very tough competition. He's been really stepping it up, and Heretics now going for a fast A play, which could be dangerous. The pistols are up close here. ZywOo only gets one with the USP, so it's looking okay for Heretics here. Trading onto the A site, they should be good to go in this round.
Yeah, it seems like they've dealt with the Trek easily enough, as you said, just that one kill being found by ZywOo. There was still a chance there for the Deagle, so I didn't want to speak too early, and of course there still is, despite both of them being tagged down, but those chances begin to look slimmer and slimmer. Shocks, although we could maybe catch Macker here. Okay, he's shifting back in now, has spotted him, okay. Yeah, that makes it a lot harder here for Shocks. He is going to take the fight, obviously not having a lot to lose. Gets the one kill. It won't confirm the op, of course, being taken away because they can easily retrieve it after they get the trade. What I was wondering there was, could he maybe even get one more kill? Unfortunately not. Caught in a very awkward spot out in the open with 3 players peeking him. The Deagle just not being the ideal weapon for that, and it is now 6-3 for Heretics. They've bounced back immediately with 3 rounds as soon as they stabilized their economy. But Vitality have now done the same. They've come through again with a full gun round. The op for ZywOo nades are okay. There's no defuse kiss, so it's not perfect. But they are in a decent spot here to try and bounce back and start getting something going on the CT side. Ideally looking for the last 6 rounds.
This is starting to get a little out of hand here on Nuke, and this is a map that Vitality... Ooh, lots of damage done on Macker there, as he stands in the flames, a little too long. This is a map that Vitality play pretty often, though. Sometimes they'll pick this map even. It was a map they picked pretty often previously, but it's seemed to kind of slip away from them slowly as this tournament's gone on. The results haven't quite been there as much for them, and wow, that's a nice lineup from Lucky. Pre-aims the position, quick kill onto Apex, and the man advantage. Again, Heretics doing a good job early in these rounds.
Yeah, just making themselves have the comfort of having a position where obviously it's Vitality who are feeling the pressure more so in the 4-on-5, whether they take the gamble to rotate one down, maybe take a push for info to try and pull back a kill as well. Heretics with so much time can just wait and see what they're going to do, how they are actually going to react to that opening frag. And RPK, the way he's reacting is unfortunately by getting caught in a corner with a Molotov. Did manage to actually extinguish it with a smoke, but at that point his position known, he was just spammed away on. So a 5-on-3, and yeah, this time we are definitely going to see aggression coming through. Masuda at least trying to get a bit of info around ramp. Didn't spot anyone immediately, and I think with that now might just rotate back and take a gamble towards this A-bomb site, where ZywOo is also joined Shocks, and oh, that's unfortunate, just as they move into ramp.
Yeah, just a quick push. Masuda rotates back, but he's not there in time. Has to concede the B-bomb site, and we saw both Vitality players were on A, so there's no way they're going to get here in time. At this point, especially without a kit currently in play, you can already see Vitality giving up on this round. They're going for the save. Good read from Heretics to find the weakness in the defense. And they've got a fair amount of money in the bank on a couple of players. They're going to go for this hunt here. They don't have to commit to this too hard, I think. If they lose 1 or 2 players, they'll probably just call it off. But we could see some action at the end here. ZywOo's holding the long-range angle with the AWP. And Macker is on the other side here. Doesn't look like Heretics are pushing out too hard for this, though.
Nah, makes sense. Despite having actually now won 4 rounds in a row, they haven't been the cleanest. This is easily the most convincing one that they have been able to win, and it was against the full buy as well. They just dominated the kind of trades in towards ramp. Of course, the initial opening frags went in towards ramp, took it to B, and instantly Vitality were forced to call for the save. Obviously, that helps them with being able to maybe scrape together the buy here. Shocks, I believe, has the M4A1S on, so he could drop a rifle. Depending on what ZywOo has as well, they could also manage to scrape them together, but it's a tough decision either way, because if you buy and it doesn't work at that point, Heretics, they likely go up to 9. I guess while we have a bit of a pause here, we can kind of mention how this could go down. Basically, if Heretics lose, they're going to need Nip and Astralis to win their game so that they can make it through. If Vitality lose, they're just done. So for Vitality especially, this is a must-win if they want to actually move on. Heretics ideally want to win it as well to confirm that, but even if they were to lose it, there would be still a small chance. But it would, of course, require Nip to actually take down Fnatic, which would be a little bit of an upset, but both very capable teams, so that's not impossible.
Yeah, there's at least the possibility for Heretics where they don't have to win to get through, whereas Vitality literally do. And as well, Vitality are the team that you'd expect to make it through just based on the look of this group. So you could argue the pressure's more on Vitality here, and Heretics have been looking very comfortable early in this game. They've been taking 1v1 fights, they've been winning them. ZywOo almost caught, but he lands a shot on 2 players. Both Macker and XMS chunked down to below half health. And Suitor might be able to take down some of these softened up players. Flashbang blinds himself. XMS there, unable to get the trade, but Suitor's still trapped, and Navair hunts him down.
Yeah, that's just fantastic damage, though, being done. Initially, the collateral, of course, by ZywOo, then being followed up on with only, at this point, Kiyoshima looking healthy on the T side. But the aggression up through ramp, they wanted to see if they could pull it back. Macker was somehow expecting it, did find Apex creeping up, but it is at least returned on by ZywOo, and Shock still kind of hanging around the CT spawn there, wasn't expected. So it's back to the 2-on-2 for now. The bomb, though, should be retrieved. Yeah, as you can see, putting down the smoke to give them room to do so. The question is, where do they bring it now? Because they know ZywOo was down towards B, and they know Shox was around the CT spawn. So at this point, obviously, Shox, he could have moved in towards Heaven. He could be waiting up on A. He could be still sitting around Hell. He could have even wrapped back around towards Main or went down to join up with ZywOo on B. But it looks like they will go ahead and move down on towards that lower bomb site. Opening shot, though, again for ZywOo. And now Kiyoshima, he nearly caught the timing to be able to creep out. Did pre-fire it, though, so not actually going to be committing off the back of it anymore. Instead, slowing things down, and with very little time left, this isn't looking good for him. Yeah, ZywOo just gives up the bomb site, realizing that he doesn't want to die at this point. With so little time, if he can even just waste an extra few seconds, wait for Shox to get in position, then there's really absolutely zero that Kyo can do. And even then, the kill just comes through.
Ooh, yeah, just gets him through the smoke. That's one way to do it. How much damage did ZywOo do in that round? Okay, I thought he'd have done more. 300 damage on the 3 kills found by ZywOo in that round. Good work from him, though. And ZywOo's a player that I remember having a really impressive ability to AWP on that B side of the map. I remember him winning quite a few clutches there, even with the AWP in some rounds, where he's able to land quite a few of those close and mid-range shots.
Anywhere.
Very true, very true. I can basically say that about any spot on the map, yeah.
I feel like Macker was inspired by ZywOo's last year. As you said,
yeah.
Since Road to Rio has started, since all these games have been online, he has just been an absolute monster. Everyone else, as you said, a little bit below their rating that was the average before, but Macker then taking his up just a whole nother level and easily making up for that and more. So it is shaping up to be a very strong game with how the maps have gone. I think all three maps can certainly be competitive. But Heretics right now, they've got a fantastic start on their map choice. RPK peeks in the lobby for some info. Doesn't really spot anything, though.
If you want an absolutely crazy stat, Dean, both these teams have played the exact same opponents in this tournament, and Macker is higher rated than ZywOo in this tournament right now. Only by 0.01 of a rating, okay? But he's still higher, slightly. Like, that's very impressive. Macker's got a 1.28 rating so far in this tournament. ZywOo's at 1.27. And I think this is just a chance for these Heretics players to firstly show they can compete with the best French team, but also even to maybe make a name for themselves on an even bigger scale. We'll see if that happens here, though, as the outside smokes are not the best. Kyo doesn't want to drop down. 40 seconds left here for Heretics to make their minds up, and they don't have the secret control they were looking for.
I don't know if they actually did want to commit the secret at all there, because they've had a player up on the kind of roof the entire time holding a smoke for Heaven, I do believe that is, so I think they might be actually favoring on towards A. It does block off ZywOo, I believe, but a smoke also down towards the door is going to slow down Heretics. After 16 seconds, they need to get going. Already Lucky gets taken down as the Soul Man pushing from the hood. Shox playing up on close towards the vents is going to be able to just waste all the time pretty much, and even takes the attention for Apex to just fly up the vent. Heretics, they just left this way too late.
Yeah, and part of the problem there, I think, is even if you don't want to go down secret, you want the smokes to be good at least, so that the CTs have to think about it.
You might have. Yeah. That's the whole point of it, to try and pull rotations, but that didn't work for them at all.
Yeah, and then they just end up having to kind of run into a wall on that A site there. I think you can see Heretics a bit disappointed with how that round panned out with the smokes that didn't quite land on Yard. They take a timeout ahead of this one. They've already got 7 rounds on the board, though, so realistically, they're already in a pretty good position. They don't need to do too much more, but obviously they're going to want to do as much as they can from this first half, and they have a decision to make in terms of their buy here off the back of the 2 save guns.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they might be willing to just take the one eco. I would prefer to see them do that and then try and be able to buy up in the following round. The only issue is then obviously Macker being still low on economy, Kiyoshima wouldn't have quite enough, so they'd need the bomb plant. So yeah, they are just going to go for it around it. As you had mentioned, of course, if Heretics can get this victory here for themselves, it'll definitely give them a boost in their name. But so far in Road to Rio, on Nuke alone, they've actually managed to get victories up against Nip, Fnatic, Complexity, Ents, and Dignitas. So that's quite impressive.
Yeah.
Oh, Keo going over the silo with one of the rifles. Didn't expect Shox at all to be playing a little bit more aggressively there. Was pushed up towards the red box and had Zywoo down as well for anyone who tried to come over and follow for the trade, which wasn't even attempted by Heretics. They left it. They just conceded that death.
And on the other side of the coin, it's obviously a chance here for Heretics to prove themselves, but it's also a chance for Vitality to try and maybe shut down some of the hype of this Heretics team a bit and try and prove that they are the #1, I guess, full French roster, if you want to call it, now that G2 have switched things up a bit. Because there's definitely a bit of hype now around this Heretics team. They've been really impressing, considering they haven't been together for too long, and Macker's just got a pick on the AWP against Zywoo, so that's a good start to this round. Back to a 4v4. Not many nades left for Heretics here, though, so they're going for this outside control, mainly just off contact. Apex there's just sitting behind the smoke, but he's going to let them pass. So Heretics have got the yard control they were looking for.
Yeah, and with a decent amount of time remaining to capitalize on it, but moving into hell, Shox up close. Will they clear it? Apparently not immediately. The trade at least being found by Navair, but not before he himself actually takes quite a bit of damage, so that's a little bit awkward. We see the bomb, I believe, being brought down in true secret at this point. Indeed, that is the case, so they're definitely looking to finish this on B. And Navair, he's been flanked out. There's already one player on towards the bomb site. This is going to be so difficult. Navair is gone, and it's just going to be those two players now having to focus from one position, which Apex, he does deal with. It's all on Macker. The scope, of course, being here. There's 7 seconds, and there's nothing that he can do about winning this round anymore, despite getting that kill. It may at least allow him to save, but he has to deal with RPK still. Oh, and goes down after time. That is heartbreaking.
No. Yeah, $200 in
Worst
the bank.
case scenario.
That is sad. Hopefully someone drops him something, but maybe they won't even bother. I think Masuta there pushing into ramp was a really big, or pushing into radio room, I should say, was a really big deal there for Vitality, because it allows Shox to just sit in hell and just watch the players pushing in heaven, and it just gives them a much safer ability to hold across the map. And it is not much of an investment in this round from Heretics. They're favoring nades on some of their players. Navair has bought a set of utility and no pistol alongside it. And there we go. The vent drop from Navair. He's got the bomb. He could get this planted with the smoke now.
That'd be a really nice bonus for them here with pretty much zero investment, apart from a couple of pistols being upgraded. And indeed, he is able to actually successfully get it down. They're not going to be doing much else in the round, unfortunately, which is kind of what you expect with the pistols they have available. But, I mean, in theory, Keo could maybe still catch one player off guard. If he could manage to grab a rifle out of their hands, run away, that would be perfect. But he's not really too worried. He's just going to move in, see what is going to be available, and the answer is 0. Zywoo, he was ready with the op, so there it is. A perfect anti-eco from Vitality, at least not dropping a player. Not really a big deal when you're coming into the final round of the half, but it lets them just get all the utility behind these weapons now, have everything that they could need coming into this final round of the half, and with that, give themselves a good chance to try and actually still win out this half after having a little bit of a poor start going down 7-3.
Well, here we are, last round of this first half, and yeah, Vitality, like you said, they've got themselves back into contention here on Nuke. 7-7 at the very least. Could even be an 8-7 lead for them at the half. Here come some outside smokes, only 2 of them deployed right now. RPK's pushed into lobby as well, alongside the AWP of Zywoo. This setup is so brutal to deal with. XMS not going to be ready for RPK. He can back away quickly, and both Vitality players do exactly what was asked of them. They both get their kills, and now Heretics have got a tough task on their hands to overturn this 3v5.
And also, this is where it becomes really awkward because they can't really help each other out. Keo's over towards Secret on his own. Navair now, I was going to say, had at least one teammate with him, but Macker has been taken down. So trying to actually work together to make a play happen is going to be extremely difficult as Zywoo misses his shot. Okay, it looked like he was just about going to make it away. He did have help from the top of the hus, so at least it is going to be traded back on. Not really going to cost him too much, leaving it all on Keo. He tries to come back in from Secret and see if he could do anything about the 1-on-4, but it was quite a bit out of his reach at that point, if we are being honest. But yeah, great recovery from Vitality after going down 7-3. They come back at 5 rounds in a row to go ahead and get themselves into the lead. But the question is, can they pick up the pistol to keep it actually towards the early part of this second half and get themselves off to a good start? Of course, guys, as always, we are going to go ahead and just take a quick break, and we'll be back in about 2 to 3 minutes with more CS action between these incredible French teams.
Chasing love in an empty bar. Pour a drink till I make it past. The midnight hour seems to come and go, but I know. Walk on up with a drink in hand, sipping mixers cause you can. And all the lights begin to switch off. You're chasing the light, holding on for life. Holding on for life, feeding the high, chasing the night, chasing the night. Hotel rooms and city squares, champagne bottles, drum and snare. The sights and cities seem to fall away when you stay. Locked in love for a night or two, losing sleep just to get off you. Day to day you wanna stay out. You're chasing the light, holding on for life, fading out. Chasing the light, chasing the night, chasing the night.
Welcome back to the ESL 1 Road to Rio. A close first half, Vitality fighting their way back into this game here on Nuke. Now we've got to see what Heretics have to offer us up on their CT side as we head into this pistol.
Yeah, that's the question. Can they get back into their winning ways now after we've seen Vitality being able to kind of get the momentum going in their favor towards the end of their CT side with 5 rounds in a row? Right now, Vitality, they are going to be just taking it outside. The slightly more aggressive smokes, giving them the opportunity, of course, to take these fights around the spawn, around Garage, get themselves a bit more control. And Obviously, just, I was going to say also open up the ability if they wanted to wrap towards A, but they have gone down secret, and then the issue with that play is without the smokes down, I believe it has been spotted by the player from Hell. So with that, we should see the CTs actually beginning to react to it. Prolonged fights towards outside so far that aren't really going to be giving anyone any damage, let alone kills. Eventually, they swing in together, and with a nade on towards RPK, we do see the opening kill going in favor of Heretics. So first blood finally being shed, but they have actually made their way onto B and are now planting that bomb.
Ooh, and ZywOo's got a kill to help them out as well. Retake coming down now. Fight's also happening at Yard, where Apex has been waiting this entire time, and XMS gets caught on the rotate. Apex looking for more damage here. Fight's happening on both sides of the map, but Apex gets away with both kills, and that could make all the difference, because now Lucky and Macker are both trying to retake from the same position. Macker's scared of the smoke, which is costing even more time, and even with the Defuse kit here, the time is so far against them. Heretics just have to get on that bomb right now. Lucky's on it. Macker's trying to defend him. Macker trying his best, but it's not going to happen. Vitality had way too many angles to cover the bomb there, and they keep on going on a bit of a streak now as they win this second half pistol.
Yeah, that was just straight up impossible if we're being real there. You can't put any blame on Macker for not being able to defend the diffuser. It was with both angles. He tried the body block from single, hoping that Lucky, I believe it was trying to defuse, that would actually be covered off then from the double doors, but that wasn't the case, unfortunately. So yeah, as you said, Vitality, after picking up momentum towards the end of their CT side, now being able to get the pistol here, starting off their T side, which was, I would say, kind of a necessity. If they had to drop the pistol and then not being able to come back with a force buy, at least at that point, Heretics, they would have been in a pretty comfortable spot where they could start building up a lead on the CT side. So obviously not giving them that. Heretics instead are going to be forcing in as they look for a bit of revenge here. They want to see what they can do with the Scout and some Deagles.
Is the Bison like a French thing, Dean? I think
Maybe.
the Bison is actually a French gun, isn't it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually not sure. I think the AUG is. I don't know a lot about guns.
I don't really know the nationalities of guns.
Lucky. He is a good position here to catch one off guard, maybe. It looked like Shox was going to be a little bit focused on the vents, but nah, he reacted in time. The Deagle of Navair not going to be hitting any headshots as of yet, nor any damage, I don't believe. Eventually a little bit being connected on Apex, but that was from the Scout of Macker. And with another frag going in favor of Vitality and the B-bomb site being found, it seems to have just forced Heretics to run away. Understandably so.
There's probably a joke here about French teams surrendering, but we're not going to make it because we're good boys. We would never make those sorts of jokes.
You just done it.
No, I didn't make it. I said that I didn't make the joke specifically. Clearly, Dean.
Still acknowledged
No,
it.
no. I would never do that.
It's
UK people having something against French people? No. We love each other.
Yeah, I'm with the French here against you. So.
This is kind of fair, honestly. I'd be with the French too if I were you. You know what? A question I have as well is, does ZywOo have a Bison skin? The answer is no. I want to see people buy Bison skins if they're going to use it.
I think I have a Bison skin. I don't even buy it.
Yeah, I have like I think a candy apple or something.
White one.
Yeah, that's
I don't know what mine is. 10-7. Vitality, they do get that force buy in their favor, but as we pointed out with the weapons being saved, there's still a chance here for some damage to actually be done for Heretics, and they kind of need to, especially after 5 surviving there in that previous round for Vitality. They have got a kind of crazy buy though, as we pointed out with the buys in a couple Mac 10s and then 2 Galils. It's certainly not the safest of investments in terms of the weapons, giving yourself the advantage with the weapons, but they ensured in the previous round that they had plenty of nades to get that secret control, and of course have rebought them up here in this one as well.
Apex up close with the Mac 10. Waiting to see if any of the pistol players overstray. Nades are coming into the A site now, so they'll move in to the A bomb site. Keo goes down quickly. The Mac 10's raining down fire onto the A site. XMS trying his best to hold it down, but he was alone. And now Lucky and Macker don't have much left to do, especially not Lucky. He's only got the USP, so he's waiting maybe for a player to push his position, while Macker just sits back towards CT spawn. So not much doing here in this round. Good A take from Vitality. Just getting those first 2 kills way too quickly for anything else to happen. And it's 11-7 Vitality.
As expected. We were hoping for a few kills at least to be found. Mack is saving over the Scout. I don't know if he'll actually want to keep that in play for the next round, but at least the armor will be a little bit of a help for him. Also, he could upgrade to the helmet quite cheap, which could work out, depending on if Vitality are going to be keeping all of these weaker weapons in play. If they keep the 2 Galils and the SMGs, obviously you would rather have the helmet as a CT in this upcoming round. but also with a couple players only being just above 5,000, we may see a couple sacrificing for the full nades. And yeah, Macker, he doesn't bother with the upgrade because he does want the up. He wants all of the nades that he can get behind it. It is going to be a secondary up as well, coming straight into play from Navair. Obviously, this is a hefty investment, but Heretics realize how important this round is, so they're getting everything out. Not going to be letting any chance really for Vitality to overcome them in this round. But again, without the helmets, with those weaker weapons in play, with a double up as well, those Mach 10s can be very maneuverable. It could still be a very winnable round for Vitality.
Yeah, I still don't think I have much faith in the Bison in these sorts of rounds, but I think it did get buffed with its armor pen, so we'll wait and see. Apex is leading the way. What is that? That was an insane kill with the Bison onto the bomb site, running and gunning, and the quick A play works once again. Heretics can't stop it from happening, even with the guns. I want to see that Bison kill back, though, man, because that felt very quick. Did the player not have a helmet? That's my question.
No, Keo and XMS, I believe, were the two players who had helmets.
Huh.
It's Lucky,
Okay.
Navair, and Macker who didn't, I'm pretty sure. You're going to have the chat asking for replays now. Whenever there's insane plays, the chat starts asking for replays, and they get really mad when we don't give them. Unfortunately, we are running it off it. Well, Hawk is running it off his actual PC in his home. So he doesn't really have the ability for replays. God damn it, Hawk. Get a second PC, get everything you need for replays.
I wish I could.
Right.
I wish I had that sort of money, Dean.
You wouldn't have had to ask me then what happens. We could have watched it back on the stream. Okay, right now the CT sure they're not fighting to win the round, but they are fighting to save over their weapons, and so far not going too poorly. An up shot being missed by Navair could give room for Suitor to push forward, but nah, not going to work out for him. Again, with that being the bonus round from Vitality, with them having so many weaker weapons, they didn't care about throwing them away. They just wanted to take what they could from Heretics, which in the end was none of those remaining 3 weapons, but they're not too bothered. They wanted to upgrade to the proper rifles here anyway.
Yeah, they are swimming in cash right now on the Vitality side of things. And this game has really got out of hand for Heretics. I think if I remember correctly, they had a 7-4 lead at one point. Maybe I'm remembering that wrong, but it was definitely a good start to the game for Heretics. They came out to a pretty good lead early in this game, and it's really gone against them here. And Shox is hunting Macker, but Macker lands the shot. Close range kill, and Lucky's there to back him up. Finally, Heretics looking to win a round here. Suitor gets 1 kill back, though, so the round isn't over just yet, but a 2v4 is not going to be too likely for Vitality. ZywOo's still alive, though, so that's always scary.
Certainly has the AK for now, but he is certainly capable with any weapon, not needing the up to have impact. Suitor, he was hunting back there to see if there was aggression through ramp, which is the case. The up was actually up extremely close there, so it will have the ability to get a fairly quick flank on. But as the bomb goes down now, it does certainly give Vitality a better opportunity. They'll be, of course, at this point, working with the time rather than against him. Suitor will eventually catch Navair coming in from ramp. They know there's one from main because of that smoke coming in. ZywOo going to be able to catch both of them coming from heaven, and suddenly it's all unlucky. This round has fallen apart for Heretics in such a crucial one as well. Lucky again is left with very few opportunities other than saving or going for a wild 1-on-2. That would have been quite difficult. I mean, ZywOo was low, so that would have been a positive, but without the kit himself, and I'm not sure if there was any really in positions that he could retrieve either, he didn't really have any other choices than to back off. The M4 will be carried over, but only the 1 weapon this time. It's not ideal. We'll probably see them being able to manage this. Now, Navair can drop the up to Macker. Lucky could then give that rifle to Navair. Could buy up for himself. You could then see the other 2 players, Kiyoshima and XMS, of course, being able to just about scrape together their buys as well. So that's what we might see. They are definitely having a discussion. And yeah, that's the decision they've made.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I think this is a great time to take a timeout, because not only was the way in which they lost that round very frustrating, going from the 2v4 to the loss, because Suitor landed a really nice shot and ZywOo was able to turn it into some 1v1 fights. That's already frustrating in itself, but then they've been going on this losing streak on this CT side already, so definitely a good call to take a timeout at that point of the game. Unfortunately, though, they've got to step it up really in this round, otherwise Vitality could be running away with this. Macker's got the AWP. They're still pretty good on their buy. Kiyoshima's had to go to the auto shotgun, but we see a bit of play for that on this map, normally on the top of hut or sometimes in ramp. So there's options for Kiyo with his auto shotty in this round. But Vitality have just absolutely taken over this game, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, from that moment, it was 7-3. Since then, it has just been all Vitality. They've gone ahead and taken themselves 10 rounds in a row, even in positions where they seem like you could pretty much count them, count them out, or like you should be counting them out even, such as that previous one. But you had mentioned ZywOo was still alive, and it did turn out to be a little bit of a prophecy for how the round ended.
Yeah.
Oh, the auto shotgun for Keo. I mean, still viable here on Nuke. Normally played around the hood. I would imagine that's where he is. Indeed, he is. And then XMS on the FAMAS. So it's not a perfect buy, but they need to make this work either way. Otherwise, they're going to be likely going down 15-7 before they get another full gun round. Unless, again, they're forced to just save over some weapons.
Interesting smokes from Vitality. That third smoke that just landed there is normally used in conjunction with some others to take the closer control towards main, but they threw the standard outside smokes and then a couple of other ones to maybe just cause some difficulty for the CTs. They have got down Secret safely, though. That's the main takeaway from this position. Oh, Lucky's going to flank them, and RPK hasn't spotted this. Lucky's moving down, and they might not expect him to be on the flank here. It's Navair, though, locking down the bomb site. Quick kill found. He tries to reposition, and he gets the dink, but ZywOo is there with the headshot. And now it's all about getting that bomb down because Vitality have been delayed here and Lucky is closing the distance. Finally finds the fight he was looking for, but it's still a 3v3, now a 3v2 because Lucky's moving towards the bomb site. Again though, ZywOo's already got 2 kills on the round. You can't count any of these Vitality players out. ZywOo's getting up close to this smoke. There's a small gap to work with, but he's got to go through. Oh, he doesn't get the spray, but he's somehow still alive. This round is going ridiculous right now, but RPK can't land the shots through the smoke. He's trying to do so, desperately looking for kills here, and the lineup almost comes through, but XMS picks up the trade, and Heretics will finally stop the winning streak.
Oh, God. He had a Molotov. I was honestly kind of surprised he didn't throw it in, but I guess with the only kind of small hole in the door, it could have been a bit risky, especially while that smoke was down. But yeah, I mean, a nice stride. As you said, nearly lined up there in the end, but eventually Heretics, they do manage to bring another round in their favor. Finally reached that 8 mark, which at one point was looking kind of inevitable for them, and was a round that they really struggled to actually get up to after being on 7 for so long. The question is now, can they manage to capitalize off the back of that round? They do need to come through and win against another full buy here from Heretics, the only weakness being that shotgun for... sorry, no weakness is the weakness for Heretics being that shotgun there for Kiyoshima again. So it is not a perfect investment. There's still money left over as well for Vitality if they were to lose this one. We need to see Heretics with a near flawless CT side from this point forward.
Yeah, and that's easier said than done, I think it's fair to say, but Heretics did pick this map, so they'll be confident, I'm sure, that they can win a fair few rounds on this CT side. Smoke's coming down. This is the wall of smokes that I was talking about earlier, which covers off the main position, kind of allows you to move into garage if you want. That's a good amount of damage done there by Lucky, though, and he's moved through the smoke. Risk taken, but it pays off for him as he gets away with 2 kills. Macker with flash assists on the both of them, and finally Lucky's been traded out, but not before he's done significant damage in this round.
I know it's usually your dog going mad, Hawker, but mine is on a mad one right now. Macker could be as well. That wasn't a wall bang, apparently. He does find the head of Apex, and unfortunately for Vitality, finds the bomb as well, creeping forward there towards Hell. So suddenly it's under the control of Heretics, making it even more difficult at this point for ZywOo and RPK to try and recover. Make that just RPK now as well. He's actually been spotted. Will eventually get one. And obviously knowing where Macker is in towards the spawn, hearing the steps coming in behind, and Kiyoshima with a medium-range shotgun there, thanks to the low health, is able to end it.
Clearly, Vitality heard that your dog was barking, Dean, and they've taken a timeout for you. That's good of them.
Could you hear my dog?
I couldn't hear your dog.
You couldn't? Okay, my mic doesn't always pick it up. She was really close. My brother's room is pretty much next door, and she was in there, and the door was open for a second while she was barking, because the hall door knocked. She heard new people and was excited.
Oh.
Nah, you were right though. She saw Heretics were starting to pick up a couple of rounds, and maybe she's a Heretics fan.
Maybe my dog's a Vitality fan, and they're gonna have a fight after this game. Who knows? My dog's pretty chill right now though, because Vitality are in the lead, 13-9, and they should be buying into this round as well. I say should. They absolutely will be. They're just taking their time. ZywOo's not gonna get the AWP this time round though, or is he? Oh, where is it? No, it's an AK for ZywOo, so that's a slight, I guess, downgrade from some of the previous buys, but the AKs are still definitely capable. And we will head into round 23 off the back of the timeout. Let's see what Vitality have cooked up for this round. Hopefully something tasty.
Kiyoshima a tiny bit. Able to do 9 damage to him with one of those Molotovs over on the hook. But yeah, nothing too substantial. He's still pretty much raw at this point, 91 health. Obviously helps out a tiny bit. But for now, Vitality going to be focusing on actually moving towards that secret control. This time, not putting down the deep smokes, as you said. It is just kind of the standard ones that they will move alongside to get in towards secret. Restricting, obviously, the info for Heretics at this point, but knowing that they've lost outside, knowing that it is a possibility, you should see them reacting relatively soon, especially with the utility being thrown out. It's not like they're being quiet about this.
No, and that makes me wonder what the end goal is here for Vitality. Are they just going to commit to this B bomb site and just try and get the play, even though they've made this very obvious? It could be a risk, but Macker's here to try and stop them. The smoke makes life difficult. Navair is also on the rotate, but the nades are just completely locking Heretics out of the bomb site. They're unable to lock this down. They're unable to fight for the site. And that means the bomb's going to go down here without a single kill in the round. That's not the best situation for Heretics to be in, because there's still utility left for Vitality here.
Yeah, to hold it off, including the Molotov, which unfortunately is on RPK, though. He's currently still towards outside. He hasn't had a chance to cross over on Secret, and yeah, Heretics have just called for the save. Everyone has already backed away, as you pointed out, 3 of them in the spawn. RPK, I think he's going to try and hunt this down since he was lurking, but he doesn't have great money himself. But obviously knowing if they can take 2 or 3 weapons out of the hands of Heretics, they would severely impact their buy in this next round. But I don't think they're really going to be taking that risk. They're just like, okay, we'll live a 5, and yeah, only in a French game would you see all 10 players managing to survive and the round actually being won.
You know what I'm interested to see as well? The HUD picks an impact player from every round. Who's it going to pick in this round? Oh, Zywoo did 25 damage. He's the impact player, guys.
That shows you how much happened in that round.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I thought Vitality were a bit too obvious, honestly, moving down to B there. I thought Heretics would have rotated a player onto the bomb site already, but just the nades to cut off the ramp position completely do Heretics in. They can't do anything about it, and they have to save for this next round. So a 5-round lead for Vitality, and the pressure's starting to build on Heretics here on their map pick. They've not got much more room for error here on this CT side. Slow start to this round for Vitality, keeping all their nades in hand, but they have got a couple of smokes about to be lined up. Again, going back to these yard smokes, which have been pretty good for them so far.
Yeah, whether they're actually using them to cross the secret or if they're just using the one up close on garage and main to give themselves the chance to actually go ahead and take that control to set up for A splits or to fight for the outside control in general. Right now, though, putting those smokes down, most of the players for the T side are going to be focused in towards lobby. Looks like they're going to be setting themselves up for the A split, showing the presence around secret in the beginning. And they do still have the 2 players down here, but I would imagine they'll move back up or else try and actually pop up the vent. Unless the other players are going to look to go down vent, but they're in the hut at the moment. So, yeah, this is an interesting approach from Vitality. We'll see how it's going to go. I think Shox is indeed going to move towards the vent to try and help them out as they move in. But XMS, he is playing very aggressively.
Oh, he's got the AK as well. He's got the ability for the headshots, but he only gets 1 kill. RPK picks up the refrag, and Keo lets the man out, but makes sure to not let him too far before pulling the trigger. 2-man lead now for Heretics, and Shox is just going to fly up the vents. It's not going to work out too well for him, though, because Apex has already been dealt with, and Shox might just give up on it at this point. He was thinking of coming up the vents, maybe if Apex got a bit of breathing room for him, but now he's in a pretty poor position. 13 seconds. And the save call is on the cards. So Heretics making sure to bounce back, getting their 10th round win. I was a bit worried that Heretics were going to maybe overreact to those yard smokes just because of that last round where they lost B so easily. But they stick to their guns and they lock down the A bomb site.
Bring it up to 10. So they're certainly beginning to stabilize a little bit here later on their CT side. The question is it too little too late? Obviously, winning out that round does put Vitality in a little bit of an awkward spot now where they can buy. One player is going to be a little bit low. That's Shox. They might want to consider him going for a weaker weapon for nades, but most likely he is just going to go ahead and get himself the... Oh, he already has the AK, so he can get nades. Never mind, I forgot. I was looking just at my scoreboard, so you can forgive my stupidity. Or don't, you know, I wouldn't. But yeah, the timeout either way, focusing on getting out the strongest buy possible, because Team Vitality know that this is going to be their last one until... before rather they would actually be put down towards an eco if they were to lose this one. So it's quite an important round. If they do lose it at that point, Heretics probably back to 12, and at that point there's like 2 gun rounds between Heretics and Victory here on Nuke. So calling this pause. They still have some left as well, so they may as well go ahead and have a little bit of a chat. All the weapons going to be available. No op, unfortunately, for Zywoo, but on the T side of Nuke, especially if you're not focusing heavily on outside, which they've done so far, you don't really need the op, so I'd imagine they might try and switch it up a little bit.
It's always available to them. It's normally, I think, pretty safe, pretty standard to start with at least some pressure on yard, just to push the opponents back and make sure you're not losing control of that position entirely. And you can see in this round, even when Vitality aren't focusing on it straight away, Shox is still just sitting at yard, making sure that Heretics don't get too cheeky and try and push that position. Again, full nades left for Vitality. They're not doing a whole lot at the start of this round. Not much activity to speak of. But a couple of players will now group up over at yard. Smokes again coming into play. And the response from Heretics this time is to have a man playing down Secret. It's Macker with the AWP, ready to try and line up some shots. The Molotov makes life difficult for him though, and there's no gap in the smoke. Macker tries to go aggressive though, and Apex was very ready for that. He gets the kill, the AWP is dropped, and now Vitality can get down Secret and again try and move on to this B bomb site.
That's exactly the goal. Navair is in place to try and hold it for them, but unfortunately only getting the one kill is going to be nowhere near enough in this position when they're already outnumbered severely in XMS. As he tries to push towards outside, he finds that RPK again is still lurking around this position, so he goes ahead and confirms this round. As you see Kiyoshima backing away, there's still money here for Heretics, especially if Kiyo lives. He can actually give over a couple weapons, so that is a necessity at this point. As Vitality go ahead and bring themselves up to map point. This is a little bit awkward now. We had pointed out, obviously, Heretics up until now hadn't actually lost Nuke in Road to Rio. They'd been having some very successful games up against teams that you probably wouldn't have expected either. Been able to take down Nip, Fnatic, Complexity, Ents, and Dignitas. So, yeah, great results. But Vitality right now, it looks like they are going to topple them unless Heretics manage to pull back 5 in a row to force the overtime.
Yeah, I tweeted out before the game, Dean, that they'd won all those games. So I think I must have cursed them. Yeah, I think I have. Because I literally said, I've been liking their Nuke.
What do you have against Heretics?
Won it 5 times. Look, I like Heretics. I actually want them to win. I just accidentally cursed them. I don't know the power that I have, Dean. We also should probably just take a quick look at some of the other games, because even if Heretics lose their map pick here, even if they lose this series, they can still go through if Nip and Astralis win. But right now, Nip are losing 15-9 against Fnatic on the first map, so that's not looking good for them. It might have to be Heretics relying on themselves here, and to do so, we'll see what they can do in this round, as, again, Vitality are just loving this Secret play.
Yeah, but they're going to be finding the op of Macker, but Macker's not finding anything with his op, apparently, because he misses the shot. Instantly taken down by the AK bullet to the head, but you will see one return towards outside, and Navair, he's actually in position really quickly. Apparently, they do expect it, though. They must have spotted him. Zyway was ready, finds himself an instant headshot, and does give the room now for the bomb to be planted. Heretics in a 3-on-4 retake. There's some nades, there's kits at least in play, but this is to keep themselves alive, as you said, on their own map choice.
Yeah, not the best position for them to be in. Not the best position for Lucky to be in, because I think he's about to be flanked. Okay, Lucky's sneaking on in. Maybe there's something he can do, but yeah, Shox is behind him the entire time. There's just no way Lucky's aware of that. Kiyo goes down, and as Lucky creeps on in, Shox finally finds the flank. 16-10 for Vitality. A very impressive comeback.